Welcome to Lock and Load Podcast. My name is Josh, where we talk to you about Connecticut 2A issues. Today we are talking about HB 5043. This was breaking news. This was just passed out of Judiciary Committee within me recording this about 10-15 minutes. I'm actually on my classroom side recording this right now where we normally do our podcast, and I locked up the store for 10 minutes while we get this information out to you guys as quick as possible. So there's a new LCO bill number, and that is going to be 3596. Bill number is still 5043, but the LCO number is 3596. That is the most current bill that they just voted on. And we're going to break that down. I do want to give this information, though, right in the beginning. This was on CTN. I watched it live, and the votes to pass this bill were 17 yay, 10 no, with 2 not voting at that time. I do believe they have until the end of Judiciary to make up those votes. So it could be a 1910, which it probably will end up being maybe an 1811. Still, those 2 votes do not make up enough to go and not pass the bill. So this information I'll try to put actually into the link below. You guys might be seeing this on Todd's channel too, Gun Guru. I'm gonna go and shoot this off to him right after I record this, but I wanted to break this down for you guys and give you the updates of the current bill language as of what is today, 3/24 at 2:27 p. So LCO number 3596. This is now a 14-page bill, as I suspected it was going to increase. I had a lot of customers come in and ask, what does this bill mean for me? And I kept saying, I don't know. We'll see what happens when it gets to Judiciary. This might change again before it gets to the House floor. We will see what happens, and I will give you guys updates as well. But let's get into this now. So this bill bans Glocks. Let's just say it how it is, guys. It bans retail stores from selling Glocks. The original bill was a straight up ban. The updated version is trying to be sneakier. It still bans dealers, expands definitions, and adds vague language, and pretends private sales still exist, even though Connecticut law doesn't actually allow them without going through the FFL system. We're going to break all this down for you guys. So this new bill now will take effect October 1st, 2026. It's about a 3-month delay, originally from July now to October. So they did increase that by 3 months. The original bill was a little bit broader. This kind of narrowed it down in certain aspects. Now, I read this bill a few times trying to understand the bill because it's worded and written horribly. It does not allow me as an FFL to advertise these guns, sell these guns, transfer these guns, except to military, certain security, dealers and gunsmiths, but there's no specific carve out for civilians. Specifically, it bans the import, selling, and offering of these firearms manufactured after October 1st. Weird language in there. There's no non-dealer to non-dealer carve out, sort of. So I mean civilian to civilian carve out. The original bill was a near total commercial ban. The current bill kind of gives you, it bans future sale, but it's also a weird transfer to transfer loophole that's in there, but it's not at the same time. So what does that mean? It has a separate carve out for person to person transfers. It's section 3, and I believe it's also 3B in that. But when you understand how that works in the state of Connecticut, you have to facilitate a private transfer through an FFL. So I intake the gun from person A, I put it into my bound book system, and then I do the paperwork to person B, just like they're buying a brand new firearm. So does the state know that's a person to person transfer? Not with the automated system, it doesn't. When you used to call up, you could tell them that. Are we going to have to do that for Glocks going forward? That's not carved out in this bill. It's not explained in this bill. that also puts some weird liability on my end, because if I sell a Glock to somebody, that's like D felony. So are any stores actually going to be willing to facilitate these transfers? I'm going to think at the current way this is written, our lawyers are going to advise us not to. Just my opinion on that. Not 100%, but, and again, I think this bill will change one more time before it hits the House floor, but we'll see what happens with that. Now, some people asked about if we could carry these guns because there was a transport language in there, and that really didn't get cleaned up. So I still don't have an answer for that, unfortunately. They did expand household tools, but it still keeps that cruciform trigger bar in focus of the bill, which are your Glock or Glock-like handguns. Your Smith & Wesson SD9s have them, your Shadow Systems, your Ruger RXMs, FK products, FMK products, some other ones out there too. But like Smith & Wesson, you don't think of that having a cruciform trigger bar, but it's on the list. They expanded the definition of household tools, which is a little bit interesting. They went after and cleaned up some language when it had to do with unregistered lowers, ghost guns and what we'd call them, or what they call them. But I don't think it really has an effect on the average person. I think it just kind of cleans up their bill, their original language in that section. So the current, it's a little bit of a broader interpretation. Ishbein and Dubitsky both mentioned it. Dubitsky said he looks forward to the courts overturning this. We need to stop these bills before we get to that level, though. It is disappointing on the votes, but it's as expected out of the Judiciary Committee. So we'll see what happens with that. Some new expansions. They define machine gun parts a little bit better. They changed some definitions to frames and receivers. Super important, or at least that we got off the rip right away. And it definitely put more liability on the stores. So we will keep this updated for you guys. We'll see when this changes. This could change in a day or two from now. It could change in a week. It'll change sooner than a month. They didn't make the bill better. They made it more complicated. The original was obvious. The new tries to hide the same outcome inside vagueness, loopholes, and contradictions. What do you guys think? Comment below. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, guys. That is where we share most of this information and our shorts, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. My name's Josh, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye-bye. Lock and Load Podcast is sponsored by Lock and Load Firearms, Connecticut's #1 rated gun store and pistol permit class on Google. Come check us out, 1573 Meriden Waterbury Turnpike in Southington. Lock and Load Firearms.
Lock and Load Podcast is also sponsored by Patriot Wear Holsters, custom-made Kydex holsters locally made in Waterbury, Connecticut. www.patriotwearholster.com and use code LNL Podcast for 10% off your purchase. Orders available for shipping or pickup at various locations.